What's up, Trojans? Very excited to finally be able to recap another Giants win. Huge upset against the Seahawks. And both the Giants wins this season have been significant upsets. The Giants were huge underdogs against the Browns and also huge underdogs against the Seahawks. And they really should have beaten one of Washington or Dallas. This should be a 3-2 team right now at least. But that's the NFL. The Giants, they're really proving that they can be a team, getting another win here like this. And the Giants played a great game of football. I said going in that the only way the Giants would win is if they got really lucky and got 2 turnovers. The spirit of that was so wrong, even if they technically only won because of 2 turnovers. But the Giants, I can't emphasize this enough, were the better team. It would have been such a disappointment if they lost this game with the way they played through like the middle, like 95% of it. It was a wild ride to watch. So let's start from the beginning. Giants defense comes out very strong, holds Seattle to a nothing of a drive. Then the Giants offense comes out immediately. Has like some 3rd and forever. Then Eric Gray catches a pass and does a great run after the catch to actually get the first down. Then that drive goes all the way to the 1-yard line where Eric Gray tries to jump into the end zone. And just before the ball crosses the plane, it bobbles and comes out. And Seattle picks it up, and it's 7 points the other way. So instead of a giant 7-0 lead to start off, it's the Seahawks up 7-0 right away. And that was a wild ride with the replaying and getting to the bottom of what happened there. It took forever. It took them forever to show an angle that actually, in my opinion, I did see the ball bobble a little bit before it crossed the plane of the end zone. So I think, unfortunately, it was the right call. Still worked out for the Giants. But they need to get something going on with this replay stuff because they showed one initially that looked way more like it was a bad call and that he got into the end zone than the one they showed later after the fact, like, proved the call, in my opinion, to be correct. So, very weird stuff going on there. But anyway, the Giants responded immediately with an amazing drive, 7-7. And then before the half, Giants ended up being up 10-7 lead. And it's at this point where it's like, wow, like, this is a game. I so expected after that the Giants to just lose the game. It seems like that's what would happen. I mean, the Seahawks, going in, were the much better team. And the Giants are not fully healthy. They're missing Malik Neighbors. No Devin Singletary. It's not looking good. Eric Gray is not like their running back. He's their receiving back. And, he was a pretty good receiving back in this one. But we did end up having a great running back and a great wide receiver in this one. Tyrone Tracy really stepped up, coming in as the rookie late-round draft pick and getting over 100 rushing yards, a lot of great runs. He was stellar today in the run game. He wasn't making guys miss. He wasn't doing like 2018 Saquon Barkley, juking 3 guys, before the line of scrimmage and turning something from nothing. He was running efficiently, hitting the holes that existed in just the perfect way. There was one, I remember he was running to the outside, and he had the 2 blockers out wide and just got right between them for like a 10-yard run. It was like, wow, perfect run. Then Darius Slayton, who is really able to step up every now and then, but otherwise is an all-right wide receiver. He had a couple drops. Wan'Dale Robinson had a lot of drops too, but otherwise had a lot of very nice catches. Darius Slayton really stepped up, had a couple nice catches on one of the touchdown drives. He had a huge reception, and then another huge reception for his touchdown on that drive. So, worked out great there. So, coming from halftime, Giants are up 10-7. They come out, and they ended up getting a really good lead. I remember it being like 20-10 at one point, and then there was a 23-13 lead the Giants had. And it's at that point where I'm like, wow, 23-13, there's not that much time left. Giants are going to have this. I mean, the defense was dominant all day. The only bad drive they really gave up, I mean, they were holding them to field goals because, the 7 points wasn't really on the Giants' defense. It was more on the offense. So when it's 23-13, the defense had only allowed the 2 field goals. So the defense is playing great. Dexter Lawrence had 3 sacks. Kayvon Thibodeau got credited with half of one, but he was getting pressure all day. Brian Burns got in there for a sack. Unfortunately, Kayvon's going to be out for the Bengals. Malik Neighbors is still going to be out too, which is going to be very unfortunate. I was looking forward to him coming back, seeing that matchup, seeing him, really get into a groove. Since, the other team might be looking more at Slayton now, maybe takes half an eye off Malik Neighbors and, help him get even more yards. But can't have nice things as a Giants fan. Except in this one, where the defense played great all day, like I said. The only bad drive they had was late in the game. It's one of those drives where it's like, okay, you can give up the touchdown. You're up 23-13, but you have to make it take a while. And they were doing a decent job of making it take a while, but they didn't make it take long enough. They were giving up way too many yards in place of an inbounds tackle. So it ended up being a pretty quick and efficient drive for the Seahawks, and now it's 23-20. So then the Giants go back out on offense. They end up not draining the clock out. There ended up being a huge drop that gave the ball back to the Seahawks. And it's at this moment where I'm like, oh gosh, the better team might lose this game because, again, I can't emphasize enough that the Giants played the better game of football against the Seahawks all the way through, except for what could have been those last 2 drives. But the defense ends up holding very strong, and Drew Phillips comes in. I mean, Tyler Nubin played great too, the second-round safety, but Drew Phillips comes in, the third-round corner, has a huge forced incompletion, batting that ball on a 3rd and 4, and it brings up a 4th and 4 where the Seahawks just have to kick about a 50-yard field goal. The game will be 23-23. I'm thinking, okay, there's a minute left in the game. The Giants offense will have a chance here to win, or at worst, we go to overtime. I'm okay with either scenario at this point. The Giants could still win this game, and now the Giants are, favored to win this game, because you have the minute left for a drive, or it goes to overtime, and then you could win the coin flip, or have our defense hold strong again. Either scenario would work well. All right. Let's do this. Nope. Isaiah Simmons just hops over. Not directly over, mind you. There's a lot of rules on this, so he had to do this perfectly. Isaiah Simmons, the second the ball is snapped, hops, I want to say, between the guard and the snapper on this. I think that's how he had to do it. He just hops over them and just cleanly blocks the field goal. Just a clean block. He just hops right over the middle and just is right in the way of the kicker. Clean block. Gets recovered by, I forget who, just another Giant. And it's returned all the way back. Giants are up 29-20. And that ends up being the final score because the Giants, kind of smart, kind of weird, end up kneeling on a 2-point conversion attempt to make sure Seattle has no chance of making this a 1-score game again. Fair enough, just weird. I've also heard a lot of people say, just slide, and then the Giants just kneel the ball out. Seattle did not need another drive, because they theoretically could win with another drive. But not with this Giants defense, and not where they were in the game. That last drive went nowhere. The Giants just dominated on that last drive. Won the game 29-20. was an absolutely wild ride because, you have that start. You're down 0-7 right away when you should have been up 0-7. The Giants come back, end up making it 10-7. Then, it gets a little slow somewhere in the middle. But then the Giants take a solid lead with some great plays from Darius Slayton and some great runs from Tyrone Tracy. And, I say Darius Slayton made some great plays and Wan'Dale Robinson did all right. I mean, Daniel Jones was pretty good overall in this one, too. I'm not going to say he was amazing. He had his mistakes. But he also had to deal with some drops. And he got a lot of great throws in. The deep pass to Darius Slayton on the sideline, great. Unfortunately, there was a random taunting call or inappropriate conduct. I forget the word they actually used. But Darius Slayton signaled a first down, but he didn't use the correct first down thing. He was pointing instead of the full first down, the full hand. And so that's a penalty now in the NFL. So thankfully they don't undo the play. They just take off 15 yards from the end of it. So I don't know how that actually shows up on stats. I think he did get credited for all the receiving yards, and it's the equivalent of just getting a sack afterward. That's basically what it amounted to. But Giants recovered well from that even, and that drive ended in a Darius Slayton touchdown. Pretty good performance by the offense overall. They broke 20 points on their own, so that's good. And then the defense was just amazing. It would have been so sad if somehow the Giants lost this one in the end with how hard they fought back there in the middle. Just played a dominant game of football throughout. And on the defense, it was really only one drive that got away from them. Every other drive, they were on it. Special teams, pretty solid too. Backup kicker still doing his job very well, actually. So good to see that. Just the full team performance by the Giants. Can't emphasize how great that was. And especially that, right after the Giants are down 0-7, they played a great game of football. The only time they wavered from there was that one drive on defense. Otherwise, the offense was always doing something. They might not have had a touchdown every drive, but they were always doing something. There was a good number of field goals in there. Credit to the Seahawks defense. They didn't just, let the Giants walk all over them completely. The Giants had to work for everything. Tyrone Tracy Jr. Coming out, a lot of great runs. That helps. And then wide receivers making catches when it mattered the most, That drop late in the game, it just ended up not mattering because of how well the defense and the special teams performed. Isaiah Simmons, for one play, got special teams player of the week. It was a huge play in the game because it was the game-winning play, but it should never have come down to that. I'm kind of glad it did because it happened. It was just such a good play to see. It's one of those plays that really might shake up the NFL. Because there was a big thing a while ago because people were leaping right over the center to do that. And now that there's this trick where you don't go over the center, you go between the two guys. I'm very curious to see in a while how someone tries to account for that. It'll be very interesting. It might result in worse blocking on the edges. It could result in a number of things. It's one of those small things that I could see having a huge impact on field goal kicks and special teams in the NFL. So, deserving award there. And so, now I want to turn attention to the Bengals. Game is very shortly upon us now. And they are a great team. Giants are playing them on Sunday Night Football. Big one for the Giants. Looking good coming off the win. Huge win against the Seahawks again. So, Giants have a chance, but they're underdogs again for a reason. The Bengals are a good team. Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow are not going to make it easy on this Giants defense, which has been playing great, just top-notch football, I'd say, this season, except for the Vikings game, of course. which still I don't think was entirely the fault of the defense, but they could play a lot better. I would I would very much hesitate to predict a Giants upset, but with the way they've been playing, this team is just a wild card team. You never know what you're going to get week to week with the Giants. You're going to get some wonderful, disciplined team that's coming out and not letting anything get in the way of a win, or you're going to get this team that will keep you in the game, but then just not get it done when it matters most, i.e. the Washington and Dallas games. Or you're just going to get this team that falls apart, like the Vikings game. I'm just not sure what the Giants are going to be on a week-to-week basis. So it makes it very tough to predict the next game. I would be shocked to see the Giants just lay down and get annihilated by the Bengals. I would be less shocked if the Giants pulled off a decent win than that. Making a normal prediction, I'd say Bengals win by a solid touchdown. It's going to be a very interesting game, though. Not having Kayvon Thibodeau, who gets a lot of pressures. I know he's not at like 20 sacks already in the season, but he's been an active participant in these games. He's gotten around his guy a lot this season. So he will be very missed. Dexter Lawrence will be there, and being Dexter Lawrence, he is a very disruptive defensive lineman, exactly what the Giants need in a defensive lineman. So, should be a fun game. If Dexter Lawrence is able to get up there in Joe Burrow's face, Giants are going to have a chance, but that's what it's going to take. Brian Burns having a huge performance, that would be something that could lead to a Giants win as well. The offense is going to have to come out, play disciplined football, have a good run game, good passing game, eliminate a lot of the mistakes like the heavy number of drops, and Giants have a chance. Just the Bengals are a really good team. We'll see what happens. See you guys in the next one.